The DC comics have given us symbols of hope, strength, and justice in the form of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. But we often forget that only a good villain can make the hero good enough. DC has created villains who not only challenge our heroes, but also haunt them. In today's video, we are diving into the most twisted and darkest minds of the deadliest forces in the DC universe. Before we begin, take a moment to click on the like and subscribe buttons to show your love for the content we create. The Batman Who Laughs. The first DC villain on our list is the Batman Who Laughs. His real name is Bruce Wayne, and he comes from the dark multiverse's Earth 22. The story behind his origin is quite interesting. The young boy watched his parents getting murdered and vowed vengeance against crime. After years of training, he became the Batman to wipe out all the supervillains from Gotham City. Batman faced the supervillain Joker, who aimed to take everyone with him while dying. Batman stopped him after he wreaked havoc in Gotham City and killed him. However, little did Batman know that the villain had a toxin in his heart that could infect anyone in his vicinity upon his death. Soon the toxin began showing its effects. Batman assembled all his allies in the Batcave and killed them with machine guns. He transformed his son Damian to be like him using Joker venom. At the Man of Steel's end, Bruce completely transformed into the Batman Who Laughs. His immense power makes the Batman Who Laughs one of the most terrifying villains in the DC universe. He gained Dr. Manhattan's powers. He could replicate himself into multiple sentient copies. He was also able to alter his appearance and restructure at his will. He could also bend reality and simultaneously see the present, future, and past. He possessed the power of necromancy. This villain was highly intellectual and cunning. However, he also had some weaknesses. One of them was the nth metal, which could harm him severely. Without his visor, Bruce could not maintain his connection with the multiverse. The Batman Who Laughs relied on crisis energy for his power, but it was not an unlimited power source and needed to be recharged. The other notable characteristic of this terrifying villain is his insanity, which eliminates every possibility of goodness within him. Darkseid. The sadistic, tyrannical, and aggressive ruler of Apocalypse, Darkseid conquered many worlds. He aspired to enslave all things present in the universe to his will. He used the anti-life equation to achieve his goal. Son of the old god Yuga Khan, Uxas rose to power and claimed the god name Darkseid. Darkseid had many sons. Kalibak was one of them, who became a lethal warrior of Apocalypse. Kalibak's mother tried to change Darkseid's heart, but Hegra, Darkseid's mother, killed her to prevent her son from becoming weak. The only force that could oppose Darkseid was his brother, Highfather, and his troops of New Genesis. Darkseid also gave birth to a daughter with the Amazon Myrina and named her Grail. Kalibak provoked Darkseid to attack the depleted Earth, but Darkseid killed Kalibak. During a scuffle with the heroes, Darkseid allowed them to kill him. He was then pulled into the Elseworld, where his influence transformed the place where darkness won. Darkseid was one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse, a new god with advanced intellect, immortality, and supernatural strength. He gained the power of the Omega Effect by stealing the old god's power. He also possessed powers of telekinesis, telepathy, resurrection, and reality alteration. Darkseid was not only a smart and powerful villain, but also versed in hand-to-hand combat. He is definitely a terrifying villain from the DC universe you would not like to encounter. The Joker. The arch-nemesis of Batman has garnered immense popularity in pop culture with its ruthlessness and dark humor in chaos and murder. The ingenious psychopath fell into a vat of chemicals that resulted in his hair turning green and his skin white. The Joker has been given different stories about his origin, which are inconsistent and cannot be trusted. He led a criminal gang, the Red Hood Gang, and was known as the first Red Hood. The gang aimed to create meaningless violence and challenge the authorities to catch them. Batman became his enemy when he rescued hostages from his clutches. The villain tried to kill Batman, leading to Batman's rise. During a confrontation at the Ace chemical processing plant, Red Hood tried to escape but fell through the weak roof of the chemical plant. Batman tried to save him, but he broke free of Batman's hold and fell into the chemicals. And that's how Red Hood became the most dangerous man on Earth, the Joker. He infects other people using the chemicals that transformed him into the Joker. Only two survive, and the trio terrorized Batman for years. Joker enjoyed pain and was immune to Joker venom. He's a genius in engineering, chemistry, and weaponry. He's an extremely manipulative leader and became the most feared villain in the criminal underworld. He's analytical and thus always a step ahead of his enemies. He is also a skilled fighter. Bane. Bane's father was a revolutionary imprisoned for rebelling against the government. However, he fled. and young Bane was forced to serve the rest of his father's punishment. This bitter experience made Bane stronger and more cunning, but also sparked hatred toward the world inside of him. He set his eyes on Gotham City. He released the prisoners from Arkham Asylum, and Batman had to capture them again. He attacked an exhausted Batman and left him paralyzed. He partnered with the White Rabbit to take over Gotham City before he shook hands with Sebastian Clarke to defeat the Court of Owls. After Joker and Batman's death, Bane decided to take over the prison where he had spent most of his life. He began ruling Santa Prisca, making it his headquarters. He started relying on Psychopirate to control his emotions, which created another tussle with Batman. After being defeated in this tussle, Bane was offered the magical playing card by the Batman Who Laughs to twist reality to his will. Bane killed Alfred, snapping his neck. Bane uses a drug called Venom to enhance his immense strength and intellect. His body heals faster from diseases, injuries, and poisons due to the periodical intake of venom. He has a photographic memory and is multilingual. He is skilled in martial arts and had immense physical strength due to the hardships he survived in prison. Doomsday. The next villain on our list was artificially created a long time ago on the planet Krypton. Booster Gold gave this unnamed being a name, Doomsday. On the hellish and violent planet, an alien, Bertrand, did an insane experiment with his team, sending a baby on the planet's surface. Every time, the baby was killed either by the vicious inhabitants or the harsh environmental conditions. The remains of those babies were harvested and then used again to create a stronger and better version than the previous ones. The resulting creature carried the gruesome memories in its genes, which birthed its hatred toward the world and life. After killing the dangerous inhabitants of the planet, Doomsday killed Bertrand and his team, considering their role in his misery. After escaping Krypton, Doomsday landed on planet Byland 5, where he was about to face Darkseid, but the latter had to flee before the battle. Doomsday's shuttle crashed on the planet Kundia, where the Kundian tribe did everything possible to protect a warrior known as Cobalt. The warrior managed to send Doomsday in a rocket into space, but then Doomsday ended Cobalt's life. The following explosion brought him face to face with the Guardians of the Universe. The enormous energies released by the Guardians tore the space-time and injured Doomsday as he fell through it, landing on Calatin. After regaining his consciousness, Doomsday destroyed the planet. The royal family members united their life forces to form a single energy, the Radiant, which finally killed Doomsday. The royal family shackled the body and sent it into space since Doomsday was a murderer. The casket in which his body was locked landed on Earth, where he would revive again. Doomsday has died again and again during the process of his creation, which helped him to learn and adapt in order to survive, thus functionally becoming immortal. He could survive in a space vacuum and did not need water, nourishment, or oxygen. His sharp claws were dangerous weapons and venomous. He could be destroyed if he was sent at the end of time, which was his prime weakness. Another interesting trivia bit about this terrifying villain from the DC universe is that he was also known as the ultimate lifeform. Trigon, enemy of the Teen Titans. Trigon is an enormously powerful demon who was the ruler of some unknown planet in the multiverse. Through Heart of Darkness, the Divine arrived on his planet to eliminate the notion of evil. When the Trinity used this Heart of Darkness on Trigon, he surprised them by consuming it, along with the evils of around 100 galaxies collected by the Trinity. Trigon's cruelty did not end there. He killed the Divine and wore their skin. Trigon's unhealthy greed for power slowly consumed him, and he began enslaving different worlds from the multiverse. Trigon impregnated many brides, but they all either died during the pregnancy or ended their lives to avoid giving birth to their offspring. Arella, a human belonging to Earth, gave birth to Trigon's first daughter, Raven. With her daughter, Arella took refuge in a dimension devoted to universal peace, Azarath. Trigon became Raven's arch-nemesis. The degree of Trigon's power can be understood because the Quintessence felt intimidated by him. Trigon could create portals for interdimensional traveling and launch mysterious energy from his eyes in the form of malignant blasts. The immortal villain was a master manipulator who could create illusions. He also possessed abilities like mind control, pyrokinesis, regeneration, and telepathy. Despite being one of the most powerful beings in the universe, Trigon had two prime weaknesses. He was vulnerable on holy ground and to high-level magic. Parallax. Parallax is a fearsome parasitic entity that inhibits a host in most cases. It lives inside the Yellow Lantern Central Power Battery. It pushes entire civilizations into paranoia, which ultimately results in their destruction. Before the Blackest Night event, this entity was locked inside a box on planet Maltus. A few aliens and Larfleeze raided the planet and got the box in an old map that showed them the way to the orange light. The Guardians and Manhunters tried to stop Larfleeze and his companions. A fight followed, and Parallax was locked inside the green Central Power Battery by the Guardians using willpower. Hal Jordan, a human, became a Green Lantern with his willpower and invulnerability to fear. Parallax managed to escape his confinement using Hal Jordan as a medium. The entity began controlling Hal so much that he destroyed the central battery. Parallax took that opportunity to implant itself into Jordan's soul. Jordan sacrificed himself to reignite Earth's sun. His soul then became a host of the Spectre, the spirit of God's vengeance, while Parallax was still bound to it. Eventually, the Spectre separated Parallax from Hal's soul. Jordan's soul was guided back to his body, which was preserved after he reignited the sun. After resurrecting, Hal resumed his duty as a Green Lantern. Jordan and the other Green Lanterns successfully sealed the parasite again in the Central Power Battery. Parallax was an entity that thrived on fear. It could generate and manipulate large amounts of energy. It could also alter reality, control minds, and manipulate time. Black Hand, William Hand. Black Hand is an interesting villain and enemy of Green Lantern. He uses a special device to deplete the powers of a Green Lantern ring. He then uses those powers for himself. This criminal mastermind likes to keep a record of all of his methods. During Blackest Night, Black Hand, aka William Hand, killed himself and became reanimated and a leader of the Black Lantern Corps. He was chosen to act as an agent of death. William had always been a black sheep of the wealthy family of Hands. He hated his three brothers and always maintained distance from them. Since they chose the path of legitimate business, William chose crime to keep himself away from them. Over time, William developed the Black Book, a journal about all the methods to be used by the successful criminal. The alien Atrocidus was important in creating the Black Hand, a destructive weapon William stole later. After accidentally committing the first murder, William found himself liking it. He relished destroying the Green Lantern's light, which soon became his life's goal. William could absorb the life force of the living from around him and created a new hand for himself using that power. He was also an intelligent criminal with a photographic memory. With the depletion of the life force, William appeared decaying or burnt. He used a weapon called the Power Rod to manipulate the power of Green Lantern rings. Another interesting fact about William Hand is that he had a mental disorder due to the trauma of losing his hand and repeated defeats by superheroes. The Anti-Monitor, a murderous cosmic entity. The Anti-Monitor has an aim to destroy all the positive matter and all life in the multiverse. It wants only the antimatter universe to remain in existence. His enemy is the Monitor. Oa was a peaceful planet. Its citizens possessed extensive ambitions and mental abilities. Krona was one of the brilliant minds who invented a screen hoping to witness the dawn of time. This experiment went wrong and caused a severe explosion on the planet, which in fact became the beginning of the creation of the universe. Krona was punished to live in the energy form forever. The citizens of Oa decided to fight for justice, but they got divided. One faction believed in destroying all evil, while the other did not. This friction paved the way for a civil war. Owens of an evil nature went to the dimension of Quard, and in that universe, the Anti-Monitor rose on one of the planet's moons. Parallel in the universe of positive matter, the excess of great energy took the form of the Monitor on one of the moons of Oa. The formidable entity could create antimatter blasts, Thunderer Quardians, and had absorbed energies from innumerable positive matter universes to enhance its power. The Anti-Monitor also possessed abilities like altering reality, supernatural strength, immortality, and metamorphosis. The terrifying villain also created many gadgets, including an antimatter cannon. The Anti-Monitor needed a form to contain its energy, without which it would gradually dissipate, and that was its main weakness. Atrocidus. Atrocidus was born on a planet named Ryut. He was one of the 5 lifeforms who survived the massacre of Sector 666, and together, these 5 became the 5 Inversions, the terrorists. Atrocidus became their leader with the aim of revenge against the Guardians of the Universe. The Guardians wanted to wipe out magic from the universe and establish order. As a result, the Empire of Tears fell, and the 5 Inversions were punished on the planet Ismalt. While the Green Lantern Abel Sur took Atrocidus to Earth quest to find the source of a black power that would consume the universe according to the prophecy of the Blackest Night, the villain attacked the hero and escaped. Using his dark magic rituals, Atrocidus found the source of the black power in William Hand. To contain this power, he created a cosmic divining rod. During his search for William Hand, Atrocidus was caught by two Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan and Sinestro, who brought him back to Yzmalt. Atrocidus became the first Red Lantern because of his blinding rage and hatred against the Guardians of the Universe for the destruction of his homeland and his family. He transferred Yzmalt to the headquarters of the Red Lantern Corps. He vowed to destroy Sinestro. Atrocidus can move things at will. His power as a Red Lantern can exhaust other Lanterns' power since Atrocidus had his heart ripped out, and his red ring acted as his heart, which enables him to fight continuously. Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne. Professor Eobard Thawne's obsession with the Flash culminated in the Flash Museum in the 25th century. A miracle changed his life completely when he got a time capsule with the Flash's costume. Eobard collected the residual traces of Flash's energy source, the Speed Force, and harnessed them to access the Flash's power. He became a speedster who aspired to walk on his idol's path. Unfortunately, there was no scope for heroism in the future, but Eobard Thawne was not ready to give up. So he created dangerous situations and then saved people to build his image as a hero. To Eobard's amazement, Barry, the original Flash, came to his time and taught him innovative ways of using his powers. However, he informed the authorities after Barry learned the reason behind Eobard's heroism. Eobard was desperate to introduce himself to his idol and convinced the authorities that he could help society by educating people instead of being stuck behind bars. Eventually, he became the curator of the Flash Museum. Eobard traveled back to the 21st century to impress Barry with his progress, where he faced a bitter truth that broke his heart. He was neither special to Barry nor considered his best friend or partner. Eobard returned to the 25th century, where he learned his destiny and many possible future deaths. Enraged and heartbroken, Eobard created the negative Speed Force and switched his emblem. And that is how the Reverse Flash was born, to torment Barry until he started treating Eobard specially and considers him as his best friend. The negative Speed Force allowed Thawne to move at superhuman speed and have superhuman reflexes, agility, and stamina. He could resist the enormous kinetic impact forces while moving at superhuman speed. He could travel through different dimensions and could also time travel. He also possessed the ability of electrokinesis. He could regenerate from any injury at a faster pace. Scarecrow, Dr. Jonathan Crane. Batman's enemy, Dr. Jonathan Crane, is the Scarecrow, who spreads fear with a specially designed toxin named Fear Toxin. Jonathan's father was a scientist who researched the emotion of fear. To run his experiments, he used little Jonathan as a test subject. One unfateful day, Jonathan's father died of a heart attack, leaving Jonathan trapped inside the dark test chamber. After days, the police found the terrified kid inside the chamber. After living a traumatized childhood, he finally decided to confront his fear and opted to become a psychologist. His goal led him to run experiments just like his father to create fear toxin, which would make its victims hallucinate their worst fears. Jonathan was soon suspended from the college because of his insane obsession. He then adopted the identity of the Scarecrow. Jonathan was somewhat immune to both fear toxin and Joker venom. He was an intelligent man with mastery in the field of phobias in psychology. He also ran many experiments on Bane's venom. Ra's al Ghul. The League of Assassins was an organization of lethal warriors that sought violent methods to eradicate evil from the world. Ra's al Ghul was the founder of this organization. The villain finds his first mention during the Crusades back in 1285 as a physician in the East. A rumor about a demon residing in a dark tower in the East provoked Prince Gerhard to challenge Ra's under Pope Martin IV's command. He reached the dark tower and demanded entry. When Gerhard stood before a Lazarus pit, he realized all the knights accompanying him were killed. Ra's spared Gerhard's life to let him spread the news of Ra's immense power and existence. He soon became a legend who feared the West while building an empire for himself. As his power grew, Ra's traveled to the East and gathered the most dangerous men on Earth, making them his disciples, and this force came to be known as the League of Assassins. Ra's tormented humanity by causing terrifying historical events like the Great Fire of London in 1666, the Opium Trade War in 1721, the cholera epidemic in 1832, triggering World War I by training Gavrilo Princip for Archduke of Austria's assassination, and so much more. The terrifying terrifying villain from the DC universe lived over several centuries using Lazarus pits to revive himself, and thus was functionally immortal. He was also able to perform magic and necromancy. He is a master of deception and is multilingual. He is also proficient in martial arts and weaponry. The Upside Down Man. The Upside Down Man was a prime enemy of the Justice League. He resided in the Dark Multiverse and was among the oldest magical beings in the universe. Hecate was his counterpart, who exiled him into the Dark Multiverse. The Upside Down Man found freedom after Hecate's death. The Great Darkness rose to power, and the dangerous villain became its servant. He faced the Justice League Dark, which worked under the leadership of Wonder Woman. The Upside Down Man corrupted and manipulated Circe to become Hecate's replacement, which began the process of the multiverse's death. His ancient origin allowed him to bend reality to his will. He did not require rest, water, air, or food for survival, and could revive from most wounds. He could also shapeshift according to his will. Eclipso. The cosmic entity Eclipso is a representation of God's wrath. However, he chose the path of evil and was thus cast from heaven. He was replaced with the Spectre. Eclipso could bond to a human by using black diamonds. He forced humans to let out their anger. He also took the form of Bruce Gordon, a scientist. He could bring out the darkest evil residing within the deepest level of a human's heart. Direct light defeated Calypso. In the New 52 version, Eclipso is shown as having originated from Nyla and is known as Lord Kala. Necron. Necron is among the most powerful entities in the universe, which can summon the dead and is a lord of the unliving. He is a counterpart of life and is an enemy of the Green Lantern Corps. There are different theories of Necron's origins. Necron was imprisoned in his realm for most of eternity, but when he got a glimpse of life in the universe, he decided to rule over it. He empowered Krona and gave him an army of undead to fight and end the Guardians of the Universe so he could fulfill his goal. Hal Jordan entered Necron's land of unliving to save the universe, fought against him, and won. Necron drew power from the darkness and could tolerate an attack from the Anti-Monitor. Since Necron was not alive, he could not be killed. He possessed abilities of reality manipulation and necromancy. Ares, Mars. Ares, the prime antagonist of the Wonder Woman franchise, has a Roman name, Mars. This tyrannical and mighty Olympian god of war is Zeus and Hera's son. However, he never shared a warm relationship with Wonder Woman, his half-sister. Discontent with the gods of Olympus, he established his own realm named the Areopagus. Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, resolved that her women would spread their love to win over Ares' hatred and warfare to save the world. Zeus' son harbored resentment against the Amazons, who were created to bring balance and peace to the world by the Olympian gods. He manipulates Hercules against the Amazons. At the right time, Diana, alias Wonder Woman, is born on Paradise Island. She stands against Ares when he plans to instigate World War III by provoking the global superpowers, the United States and Russia, against each other. Diana uses the lasso of truth, which compels a person bound by it to speak and see the truth. She shows the god of war the consequences of his actions that would lead to the end of humanity, and in the end, there will be no one to worship him. Abandoning this plan, Ares took the identity of a criminal named Ares Buchanan. He has a relationship with Donna Milton, his lawyer, and gives birth to Lyta, who possesses magical powers. Together with Athena and Aphrodite, he takes over Olympus. He approaches his other half-sister, Cassie Sandsmark, and blesses her with a lasso to make her able to expel their father Zeus's lightning. The ancient god of war tries to kill Wonder Woman using his chief agent, Genocide, but his plan fails. Wonder Woman uses a battle axe to slice Ares' head in two. Brainiac. Brainiac, also known as Vril Dox, appears as a main villain in both the Justice League and the Superman franchises. This intelligent alien android aims to conquer the universe and also document all knowledge in the universe. He shrinks and bottles the alien cities before destroying the planets. As an antagonist in many storylines, Brainiac has become the most terrifying villain in the DC universe. He is a cold-hearted, narcissistic, and intelligent villain. Brainiac is obsessed with knowledge and aspires to become the final source of knowledge. He also wants to control all the information within the universe, so he conquers and collects any species, planet, culture, and city. He is a sociopath who destroyed entire civilizations to achieve his goals. The advanced computer system has supernatural strength, endurance, and speed. He uses devices like the Hyper Ray to shrink cities. He also used the Ultra Force Shield against Superman. Professor Pig. Professor Pig was once Laszlo Valentin, who was Spiral's agent. He designed neopharmaceutical products like the mind-eroding gas. Laszlo became a victim of his creation and turned into Professor Pig. He became an insane scientist, turning people into red-haired doll-like things known as Dollatrons. He invented masks that bind with the victim's face and transform their heads. Professor Pig then alters these victims by surgery. They lose all their will and follow Professor Pig's commands. Professor Pig also appears in other media, such as in the movies and video games in the Batman franchise. Dr. Destiny, John Dee. The last terrifying villain from the DC universe on our list is definitely Dr. Destiny, a criminal genius. He invented an anti-gravity device and used it to impersonate Green Lantern. He even infiltrated the Justice League of America, but was defeated by them. In prison, he invented Materiopticon. This device turned dreams into reality. Haven't most of us wished for that? But Dr. Destiny used this device for all the wrong reasons and attacked the Justice League of America using it. Dr. Destiny learned to alter the dream world using his mind. The Justice League of America sent a psychiatrist who destroyed Destiny's Materiopticon and his ability to dream, stopping Dr. Destiny from his evil schemes. It drove Dr. Destiny to insanity, and he made destroying his enemy the goal of his life. However, he faced only defeat at the hands of the Justice League. Marvelous verdict. That's all for today's video. From the Batman Who Laughs to Dr. Destiny, we've covered all the terrifying villains from the DC universe. Some of them were insane and maniacal, while others were highly intelligent and methodical. Their unending hunger for power and destruction made all the storylines from the DC universe a memorable treat, earning a cult following globally. We hope you enjoyed this video. In the comments, let us know who you think is the most terrifying villain from the list. We'll see you in the next one. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, be safe, and thanks everyone.